a man who really needs no introduction in this room, who's committed more than 30 years of his life for public service for the betterment of Pasadena, Texas. Now, I could read a long list of all the organizations he's been involved with and the accolades and the awards, but if I had to guess, you've probably heard it at least once or twice before. So instead, Mayor, I will say to you, it's been a great collaboration of working with you and your leadership team in partnership. For the first time, the city and the chamber and the school district are all on the same page, and I think we can all agree, by the size of this room, that when we work together, we can certainly accomplish more. So I continue to look forward to working on projects together. So it is my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to bring up to the stage Mr. Johnny Isabel, Mayor of City of Pasadena.
She says 600 of my closest friends are here. Well, first off, let me introduce, for those of you who hadn't come up and seen her, Jeannie, my wife, my son Kenny, and Johnny and my daughter, Lisa Carson. My daughter came up to the house last night, left me a note. Y'all appreciate this. One time I totally failed to introduce her. I think last year I introduced my son as Lisa. This is my son, Lisa Isabel. It's Carson now. So thanks, darling, for the reminder. And I want to thank the people that set up this facility. Doesn't it look great? I mean, it looks really nice. And Julie Wilson, I want to mention her in particular. She's the one that made all your table centers there. Julie, where are you at? I know you're here. Out of Kirby Cardenas department? There she is, back over there. Thank you so much. Boy, to say this is an exciting time in Pasadena is an understatement. Businesses in town are flourishing. New development is just about everywhere you look in Pasadena today. I've often been asked, what do I think is the reason for this unprecedented growth in Pasadena? Well, personally, I think it boils down to one basic principle that holds true for all of us, whether it's your personal life, your business, your relationships, and that basic principle. If you've got a good foundation to build on, you can do enormous things in whatever you're doing. First and foremost here in Pasadena, I think the community feels safe. They've got to do that. Thanks to our police department under the leadership of Chief Mike Thaler, who's sitting down front here, we've got one of the lowest crime rates in the area. This past year, it decreased again for the third time in a row. If you noticed out front there, what they call, I think it's the Bearcat, the armored vehicle, we usually don't bring it out here, but we usually have it around council nights at the city hall, so we keep it down there most of the time. But the police also utilize grant funds to pay overtime for officers to be on the street. In partnership with Second Century, the department also purchased a surveillance tower that you saw outside. It's called Skywatch, and it's deployed at various different retail locations throughout the city and events in the city. Now let me tell you, those of you that see this can go down to read the ID on your driver's license. It can really come in close. So watch what you do when you pull up and you see that in a parking lot. The police department's also created a new way to identify wanted felons. They've arrested recently 165 wanted felons in Pasadena. Let me tell you a little story real fast about what happened 2 days ago. There was a gentleman with a knife that thought he could come out here at Fairmont Parkway and Beltway and rob a couple of our stores. This was around 10 a.m. in the morning. By noon, the police had him in jail. So give the police department a big hand for that. 2 hours. Because of initiatives like these and the overall crime rate, which is down 22% more than 3 years ago. There's also a fine department we have, led by Chief Lanny Armstrong, our fire department, the largest volunteer fire department in the United States. The caliber of work rivals the big city full-time departments, and I think they do as good or not better a job than the full-time ones. Last year, our firefighters responded to thousands of calls for service and did it in record time. Congratulations, Chief, for your leadership there. Working hand in hand with the fire department is Chief David Brennan, who's also doing an excellent job in the fire marshal's office. He conducts thousands of inspections a year and provides a lot of public education for students in the schools. I think they had 28,000 participants last year that they talked to. They excel in areas such as international award that they received for outstanding investigation, and the state award that they earned for dedication to protecting our citizens. This is a community that has realized the value of infrastructure. Our Public Works Department, under the able leadership of Robin Green, did a lot of major projects last year totaling more than $30 million. And there was not a part of the city that wasn't touched. Many of the city's pipes were replaced with PVC pipes that have a much longer life expectancy and maintains the water quality, unlike, as we all know, Flint, Michigan. Water pressure has also been improved, especially in neighborhoods in the historic district of Pasadena. Throughout the city, miles of new sidewalks were added and drainage was improved. Tens of thousands of feet of roads were repaired, and major thoroughfares like Preston and Strawberry were extended. Congratulations again. I would like to take this moment to recognize, I know he's not here, Harris County Commissioner Precinct 2, Jack Mormon, and his staff. That's exactly right. He's been partnering with us for a year since he's been there, and he hadn't had an opponent yet. Can you believe that? I haven't gotten by without an opponent yet in all of my races. But he does a great job for everybody, and I think the surrounding cities will agree with that. But he's been partnering with the city of Pasadena on some of the biggest projects this year. Recently, like the construction of Randolph Street. A lot of you know where Randolph is. I want to thank the commissioner and all of his great staff for what they have done for Pasadena and the surrounding area, and the other mayors here know what I'm talking about too, for continuing our partnership, and we have a lot of exciting projects on store for this year. I want to also mention a group of unsung heroes in Pasadena that keep our streets pristine. Our Clean Streets Department, led by Charlie Ginzer and Kirby Cardenas. Last year alone, they cleaned, get this, 125,000 cubic feet of debris from our street last year. Let me put that in perspective for you. That would take, in a regular pickup truck, 1,865 pickups to pick up that same amount. That's a lot. Our community is one which improving the quality of life for neighborhoods is always an important project. One recent example of this is last year our Code Enforcement Department, together with the Legal Department, Municipal Court, recommended changes to our junk vehicle ordinance. And because of that, we removed 1,800 junk cars in Pasadena last year. 1,800. A lot of them go to our auction, I think, once or twice a month. So if you're interested in any cars that we picked up, go to the auction. Also, they cleaned up 730 overgrown properties. Rounding out that basic foundation I was talking to you about, you have a community. We have a community here that is really engaged in our city. Our Community Relations Department, under Richard Scott, sees the proof of that all the time. Last year, our social media subscribers increased by 67%. And on Facebook last year alone, We had more than 3.1 million hits on our Facebook. The city's new photo sharing site has over 1 million hits in the first full year. And the Pasadena channel is already getting hits on the website it just launched, where people can view videos on demand. We're seeing the same thing in our volunteer program. Last year, volunteers logged more than 50,000 hours. 50,000 hours. That's an average of 137 hours a day, every day. You add all that foundation to our economy. Our economy is booming here in Pasadena. Our cost of living is 17% lower than the national average. And we have a job growth rate that is projected to be 40% higher over the next 10 years. And you have all that put together, and you have an incredibly strong foundation. As a result, great things are getting built here in Pasadena, and they're in record numbers. Existing businesses that are thriving, expanding, and take ABC Dental as just an example. They opened not just one, but 2 new facilities in the historic Pasadena area. They opened here with 40 employees in this one building. So it's just amazing what they did. Now, another one, Pinnacle. Ryan, sit and stand up just a minute. Ryan, our new railroad commissioner in Texas. It was only about 5 years ago that Ryan opened his office here with 40 employees and 1 building. This past year, he opened an entire complex of multiple buildings and a cafeteria for his employees, has over 500 employees today. If you go over there, his one room that I saw was about a little bigger than a basketball court, with just cubicles all over it. All A&M engineering graduates. Now, he did sprinkle in for diversity a few University of Texas engineers, but I can tell you, it's amazing. These kids, brilliant kids, look like they're about 12 years old. And they're sure smart, because he's done awfully well. Another area we're quite proud of is the Houston Area Safety Council. It's another organization that's expanding. Luis, where are you at? Luis Aguilar? There he is right there. They opened 25 years ago with less than 1,000 feet in their building. Today, their headquarters in Pasadena spans more than 120,000 square feet and more than 38 acres. Goodness. Again, thank you. This year alone, their existing facilities allow the Houston Area Safety Council, or as I like to call them, the Pasadena Area Safety Council, or I guess I could call them the Pasadena Deer Park LaPorte Seabrook Safety Council, as those mayors would probably like that, will train more than 300,000 people from around the world. That's amazing, coming to Pasadena. Turner Industries is another giant. They will be able to train more workers with their new expansion, administration, and training facility, $8 million building. Great company. They do this year, get this, in the Texas Gulf Coast and this area, well, all over, their annual revenues are $3 billion a year. Unbelievable. And their footprint in Pasadena is going to increase. Then there's Bayshore Medical Center, which has been serving our community for more than 50 years. They recently received a Texas Enterprise Project designation that means they'll receive funds from the state of Texas to help in an expansion and hire 500 new jobs and a $12,500,000 capital investment in their buildings. Amazing. Another medical facility is thriving is Patients Medical Center, which opened in 2007. It's only a few years that they had partnered with the biggest names in medicine, St. Luke's, and they have recently partnered this past year with the CHI St. Luke's Health Patients Medical Center. The name is not all that's grown. Our emergency room has doubled, and they're expanding their cardiovascular services also. Nestle Water, another company here in Pasadena, is a great example. Their facility opened less than 5 years ago with 50 employees, 50. Within a couple of years, they added more employees and another production line. They opened with one production line, now they've opened two. And they've also opened the third line this year and will double the amount of employees they originally started with. Now, this new line, get these numbers, will produce 81,000 bottles an hour. 81,000 bottles an hour. Now, for the engineers in here, that means 1,350 a minute or 2.5 bottles a second. I got to see that machine that can do that much. But it's a facility that will produce more than 50 million cases of water each year. Now, another little side story. I was asked years ago if I wanted to look at investing in bottled water. I said, not no, but heck no. Who in the hell is going to pay money for water in a darn bottle? Well, prove me wrong. I could go on and on, actually. These are just a few of the examples, and I haven't mentioned them all, that our existing businesses are doing. That doesn't even take into account the new businesses coming to town, like the area around 225 and Beltway, which has continued to boom with new facilities being added on what seems like a daily basis. The same is true of our Bayport area. The new $95 million crude oil facility is being built, where LyondellBasell plans to build a facility as part of the world's largest polypropylene oxide plant. $95 million. Bayport is also where the Port of Houston Authority recently set a record for handling more than 2 million loaded containers. To really appreciate that, put it in perspective and how really impressive that is, consider this. If you laid all of those containers end to end, it would reach to China from here. Donald Trump would probably be glad to that if he's going to bring a lot of business back to this area. But that's just amazing. And I understand that the port, saying that on the port is just an understatement. In the past years, the Port of Houston, economic value to the state nearly doubled. It now accounts for 16% of the state's gross domestic product. That's huge. Chairman Longoria and the commissioners have done a great job, and she has recently been quoted as saying, quote, to move the world and drive regional prosperity is their goal. Well, I would say you've reached your goal, and job well done, and continue working. Bay Area Park is another example that is thriving. In late December, 2 tenants leased a combined total of 1 million square feet, which were some of the biggest industrial leases in the greater Houston area in 2015. Pasadena Industrial Park also had a landmark deal this year. That's where another major water company called Crystal Geyser recently purchased 20 acres from the city and plans to build a bottling facility. In total, the project will be a $60 million investment that will generate more than $41 million in the annual economic impact of the city and the surrounding area. In retail, the market at Crenshaw and Beltway opened adjacent to Fairmont Parkway's retail corridor, which has been called by some as the top performing retail space in the nation. If early performances are any indicator, this new center along Beltway and Crenshaw might soon be called the same. The new Burlington has been bustling with traffic since the moment they opened here. Most recently, Nothing Bundt Cakes, that's B-U-N-T-D, Roy Meese, Nothing Bundt Cakes, opened anew and immediately broke the opening day of sales record of any store in their 17-year history. The store opened with enough supplies for 2 weeks. They were out of inventory in 2.5 days. It just tells you how they're doing. I'm happy to hear stories like this, but, I'm not surprised. In the past year alone, the amount of money generated in the last 10 years nearly doubled with our restaurants. According to the state controller's records last year, the businesses have generated more than $264 million in sales. Amazing. No wonder restaurants are coming to Pasadena. MOD Pizza just opened up along Beltway and Crenshaw. Olive Tree Mediterranean Garden opened on Fairmont. A new family-friendly sports restaurant called Bubba's 33. Isn't that appropriate for Pasadena? Get down, Dina. Bubba's 33. We're looking forward to that too. And exciting new news, Papa's Restaurant Barbecue will be coming to Pasadena. We'll be breaking ground very soon. It'll be at the location in front of the movie theaters on Beltway right there. A new highly rated bakery on Southmore Street. A major expansion of the Whataburger on Red Bluff, which I love Whataburgers. They just need to accommodate more traffic. At the corner of Beltway and Vista, 8 acres is under contract for a major restaurant developer. So we'll probably see 2 or 3 restaurants coming in there as well. And we'll really be expanding, you and I will really be expanding when Krispy Kreme gets through. They're working on their building now. Speaking of Krispy Kreme, I have a story to share with you. More than 250,000 people clicked on our Facebook page announcing Krispy Kreme, and nearly 2,500 people passed it on. 250,000 people, 2,500 passed it on. On Twitter, it was our most popular post ever. Then a few days later, we announced that Pasadena was in the running to be named the healthiest city in Texas. That's a fact. Boy, you got to laugh at that. What's even funnier, no one shared that post with anybody. In addition to restaurants, we've also seen several motels come into our city, including the Marriott Resident Inn, Hilton Home 2 Suites, the Holiday Inn Express, and all along Beltway. More medical practices are popping up, particularly around the area of Crenshaw and Beltway. A few years ago, a news article stated that Pasadena was quietly building its own medical center, and that's somewhat to be true. Here at the city, we've also had some big projects in works, including the new state-of-the-art Fire Station 5 being built on Spencer Highway. I've been asked about that a lot, but now you can see what it is. And also, I'm looking forward to the new no-kill animal shelter that will start on construction later on in the year. Our Parks and Recreation Department, under the leadership of Kirby Cardenas, built new playgrounds at Pine Park, Golden Acres Park, and Parkview Park. The Heritage Museum is also under major renovation, so we can show more pieces of our history to those visitors to town and those Pasadenans who'd like to see it. But the crown jewel of the Parks and Recreation Department was the completion and opening of Strawberry Water Park. You know, I've had the privilege of being mayor for a long, long time, and thank you for that. I've seen a lot. But I don't know that I have ever seen a bigger reaction and a more positive response from our community than the Strawberry Water Park. To date, it's a great idea, and we're talking about when we posted the water park's opening on Facebook, more than 610,000 people clicked on it. And you're right, that's more than Krispy Kreme did. 610,000, that's 4 times the population of Pasadena. And I think it's safe to say that they're excited about the new water park, and rightfully so. It's an addition that our families will continue to enjoy throughout the year and in the future. As you can see, the state of our city is not only secure and great, it's excellent. And I think it's poised for an even brighter future in our near future. We have made prudent financial decisions that have kept our reserves filled and our bond ratings high. Pasadena Second Century Corporation and our economic development partners are bringing even more new development to our city. Christina Womack, who you saw up here, doing a beautiful job as Pasadena Chamber of Commerce. And she's created a network of businesses that are supporting each other and learning from each other. And our business community is now even stronger. Our educators continue to work tirelessly to find new ways to enhance the education offered to students and to prepare the most well-trained, well-rounded workforce in the nation. The partnership between Pasadena ISD and San Jacinto College for their early college high school is the perfect example of that. And I see San Jacinto College has just signed a deal with Baylor University. It gives students the opportunity to not only graduate with a high school diploma, but also with an associate's degree for college. And at the district's Dr. Kirk Lewis Career and Technical High School Center, they can earn a diploma, get free college credits, or obtain professional certifications or licenses in high-demand areas that we need in this area. Over at San Jacinto College, the new Maritime Center is now open, offering more than 40 maritime courses. Students not only receive classroom instruction, but also hands-on experience in 3 state-of-the-art ship bridge simulators. At the University of Houston Clear Lake, that's partly in Pasadena, it was recently announced that a new $54 million science, technology, engineering, and math building will be constructed in the fall of 2018. And of course, we have our most valuable asset of all, and that's you, the people who live and work in Pasadena. Every day I'm literally blown away by the innovation, your hard work, and your dedication to our community. I firmly believe that people looking at Pasadena from the outside not only see it too, but want to be a part of it. On a personal note, I'd like to take a moment to recognize one very special group of people who exemplify those characteristics that I just mentioned. Our city employees. One of my favorite parts of being mayor is getting to work with these talented people each and every day. There are 947 of the hardest working people you'll ever meet. The city employees, please stand up for a minute. I know a big table of them here. Policemen, that's y'all too. Just stand up. Thank each and every one of you. And everyone in our city wants to thank you. And as you drive around town, you see what they're working on, the new development, the economic growth, everywhere you look. And know that you are really a part of it. Because of you, great things are happening in Pasadena and will be happening for years to come. I'm just one member of council, but with the council members here, stand up again. They're a part of all of this. The ones that are here, y'all stand up. Give them a big hand also. And like I say again, because of y'all, Pasadena will continue for years to come in the future. I want to thank all of you for what you really do. May God bless you, and God bless our veterans, our men and women in the military, and then also the families that have lost loved ones that have paid the ultimate price. Thank you for coming. It's a great crowd. Godspeed, and thank you very much.